Hello guys, just wanted to do a quick video updating on gold, right? Because obviously gold, as well as with crypto yesterday, but everybody, there's been a lot of content out there about crypto, but gold really yesterday had quite a strong pullback, right? We got a pretty strong liquidation situation where, the price of gold basically, throughout the day went from 1820 all the way down to about 1790 or so. And most importantly, over the last couple of days since starting this week, we got rejected again at this very key 1830 level that we had talked about in the previous video, where we had the previous double top here. And what I had mentioned in the last video is that I was still bullish on gold, especially when we were looking at these patterns that we were building, right? The wedges here that we were like building and so forth, right? I can draw it out for you again. We had the situation here where, we were basically seeing these wedges in price, and constantly we were kind of we were making previous resistance, new support, and so forth, so forth, so forth, all the way up to this 1830 range, right? And what I had said in the previous video that I did is that I was hoping that we were going to make another kind of wedge situation where we kind of tried, right? At one point, we were trying to make 1820 support just about here. But what I had also mentioned is that if we especially start looking back at the longer term time frame in terms of the day chart, etc. Oops, sorry about that. If we start looking at the longer term time frames in terms of the day chart, etc., I had mentioned how that, we had to definitely start taking into serious consideration, and we needed to be careful if we were bullish on gold about the fact that some people were definitely going to start looking to take profits, right? Which is what we had seen previously in these run-ups with the pullbacks, right? That was people taking profits, right? When you think about a market simply just, you know, demand and supply, right? Right? In terms of, do people want to buy gold right now? Do people want to sell gold right now? What is going to win out? Where's the higher demand at? And that's all it really is, the inflows and outflows. And as I mentioned also in the video, it was that, if we got a pretty strong situation where there was a lot of sell side, right? Just given how leveraged the gold market is right now and how much is just traded on leverage and not spot, on derivatives platforms or whatever, right? As we talk about all the time, gold tends to go up in these steps, but when it goes down, it drops hard. And that's what we got because we got a liquidation event. People's accounts started getting blown just because people were taking profits. And when larger investors in the space start taking profits, right, it causes that initial sell-off period before people just start getting liquidated as they're getting margin called, right? And that's really what we saw. And this tends to happen a lot more when people are long as opposed to when people are short. Okay. So that's all it really was. There was nothing really in particular that caused this sell-off, at least in my opinion. Um, but it was something that we thought could have potentially happened. If you were trading this, over the last 2 days long, I hope you had the stop loss because we were also at such a key resistance level here on the day chart, right, with this previous double top here, and we were testing it again. Um, I was hoping that we would get past it. I was wrong. Um, but I was also very aware, right, that this type of larger sell-off with the liquidation, with people getting liquidated, definitely could have happened. And that's really what we saw. But it's not particularly surprising, right? And I don't think necessarily that the sell-off is or gives us any particular reason really to be now all of a sudden really bearish on gold. I don't believe that at all. I still think fundamentally gold is in a pretty good place right now. Just given everything that's going on. You have to also remember, right? Next week we have the CPI data coming out, which always moves gold heavily. Okay, and as we all know, that recently inflation is high. Okay, I don't think there should be too much of a difference, though. You never really know, right? But my whole point is that we still have that overriding fundamental narrative in the gold market right now, right? Now, in terms of the rest of this week, um, Obviously, I think in the short term, there's probably going to be some more sell side action, just given the nature of the technicals and just the overall sell off that we saw. Um, in terms of being a gold bull, though, it's what we'd really just want to see at this point is, right, I mean, we had a big run up anyway, right? I mean, it was natural that people were going to take profits. So the key question really now is where are people, or rather, where are we going to potentially set a higher low in terms of gold, right? If we say that this bottom here was really the first low, where's the next higher low, for example, on the day chart we're going to set? Are we going to kind of set it at this key range, which has been really, really strong support and resistance previously around 1750? Is that where we're going to go? Is it going to be a little bit higher up here around 1780? Who really knows? It's really hard to answer that question. But either way, as I've mentioned multiple times on this channel, um, I still think that any price at 1750, 1760 or below for gold is a really good opportunity to buy in, whether it's kind of in the more short-term time period or also on the longer-term time frame. Um, I do think ultimately you'll probably see some returns if you take a position there, whether it's a leverage position or just start buying spot. So that's my take, and that really hasn't changed. This sell-off that we've seen in the past 48 hours has not changed that opinion for me whatsoever. Um, so let's see where we get the buyers really coming back in again. I don't expect that to come at 1800, but it could be wrong. I expect it to pull back a little bit more, but ultimately I'm not too concerned, and I wouldn't be too concerned if I was you and you are a gold bull. Okay, that's my take. Anyways, if you have any questions, definitely leave a comment. Please consider giving this video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video.